Ahoy, ahoy to all you smooth sailors out there, and welcome aboard the Deck Tales podcast. I'm your host and captain, Sammy Catlin, and this is the show where we set sail into the captivating world of ship life. Most of the time, delving into the best and worst experiences of the incredible crew members who call the open sea their workplace, but I'm open to the odd exception as well. Whether we're navigating stunning destinations to weathering unexpected storms, our guests all have stories to tell that will make you laugh, gasp, and maybe even shed an unexpected tear. So if you're a seasoned cruiser eagerly awaiting your next embarkation, or just curious as to what goes on at sea, Deck Tales is your boarding pass to a world of nautical narratives. My guest today is Mrs. Allegra DuChaine, a singer and musician whose only contract on board was with myself back on the Carnival Paradise around 15 years ago. She gave me the scoop on how she got herself on board, why it was her only contract, what she loved and disliked about working at sea, and what she's been up to since. It was so nice to be able to reconnect with yet another former colleague from what feels like a past life. So let's anchor up and dive right in. Allegra!
Woo! I'm here. Hi there.
How are you, my dear?
Long time no see.
Long time. Yes, it's been a while. Been a hot minute.
Yes. Was that 2010?
He's scanning the archives.
Yes.
I think you were, well, on my penultimate ship. You were on the Paradise with me, weren't you? Or were you on the Inspiration?
I was on the Paradise.
Yeah, that one.
That's the one.
Was that early in your ship career, or was that tailing off towards the end?
That was my ship career.
That was it. That one.
Was it. That one.
Okay. Yep. A couple of people, they were done and dusted after the Paradise. It had that effect on a few people.
It really did. I didn't think it would, but it worked its magic. So
yeah, the Paradise did have an effect. But so that was it. All them years ago.
Yeah, 2000. That was 2010.
And did you do a 10-month contract, 6-month contract? How long did you do on board?
So I did a 6-month contract, but I left after 4.5 months on medical leave.
Wow.
Because I kept losing my voice.
Were you having nodule problems?
Yes. Yep.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I just all came flooding back. Yeah, and at that time, I think, yeah, you and a couple of other people who'd been singing in bands and show teams and stuff, I'd never really been aware of nodules as a problem before until I started working on ships.
Well, it ended up that I did not have nodes, but I did get off the ship. Yeah, at about 4.5 months after having laryngitis for my 4th time on the ship from overuse. And yeah, so I got off, and the ear, nose, and throat doctor said, if you don't get off the ship today, don't plan on singing for the rest of your life. So
really?
Got a doctor's note, ran back to the ship, packed up within the last hour before they disembarked, and I was out.
So are you a trained singer, or are you self-taught?
Mostly self-taught.
Right. Because obviously the difference with, and forgive me for saying this, but with the show team singers, they have a different level of training, right? They go to school, they do the training for years and whatever. And when they do the show team singing, they're performing again every night. And the technique involved in performing a certain way is that they don't lose their voice, right? Is there something in that?
I mean, I've been professionally singing, since I was 12.
Yeah.
So, and I do know how to use my voice properly, but the fact was that I was singing 30 hours a week, and the show singers were singing 15.
Big difference.
So, yeah. So that's double. That's a lot of singing for one person for a week work.
And you were singing a lot of power ballads.
Yeah, and I was singing with loud, drinking crowds and people going crazy and dancing and shouting along with me, and so it does take a toll.
Definitely.
And I'm not gonna say I wasn't drinking tea. I was drinking wine probably when I should have been drinking tea. I was enjoying myself when I maybe should have, been nursing taking care of my instrument. But yeah, 30 hours a week is pretty aggressive.
Well, so if you're professionally singing since you're 12, and that was the biggest stint where you ever had problems with laryngitis, like you said,
The only
time.
set. Yeah.
In 4.5 months, you got laryngitis 4 times.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
I know.
So
wild.
I mean, that rules out that question. Did you sustain any injuries on board?
Yep.
And I guess a lot of the questions regarding like emergency situations and stuff, I would have been aware of those anyway because I was on board the whole time you were on as well.
Right.
But everyone's experiences on board are so wildly different. And especially as it's such a long time ago for you and it was a self-contained, isolated incident, you can dish the dirt as much as you want. You're not going to worry about future employment with your old bosses at Carnival now.
Gosh, see, that's the thing, though. I mean, maybe I do. Like, I've been having these.
Oh dear, I've just recruited you back, haven't I?
No, I mean, I have my drummer and I right now have been. She loves to go. She and her mom and her best friends go on cruises all the time, and every time she's on one, I get a text from her saying, like, we have to do cruises. Like, we have to be fly-on musicians. Like, we have to do this. I said, well, you know what? Get the contacts and we'll do it. I'm happy to do it again now. I mean, for a myriad of reasons, but one being the fact that I played a 12-string guitar while I was on the Carnival, which is super aggressive on your hands. So that's not only 30 hours of singing, that's 30 hours of playing a very ambitious guitar for your hand.
You must have had some hella calluses on those
I did.
hands.
I was calloused up. Yeah. Now I play a 6-string. Now I've been playing for so much longer that I know I have a loop pedal. I have all the
nylon or steel string.
They're all steel string, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I'm able to supplement nowadays, 15 years later, much more kind of instrumentation rather than having to sing my way through the entire shows. Mm-hmm. And secondly, there's iPads now. Like that didn't exist. So I had this big book of these songs that I would play over and over again. And now I can take more requests and I can be a little bit more creative. And if I went, on a fly-on type of, contract, I would hopefully do it with like a duet, and it would be less hours and it would be more shared performance responsibility.
Absolutely.
And it was so much fun. Apart from the laryngitis and apart from the sickness, like it was a blast. I mean, I had such a good time.
It was a good vibe on that ship. And it's been scrapped now, right? So you couldn't get back on board the Paradise if you wanted to.
Oh, it has?
I think so, yeah. Side note, wrong. The Carnival Paradise is still sailing, and it currently, at the time of recording, is operating 4 to 5 night voyages to the Bahamas and Western Caribbean, departing from Tampa, Florida. The ship was built back in 1998 and has undergone several renovations, including a major refit in 2018 and another in 2023. End of side note. I mean, over COVID, they got rid of a lot of their smaller ships because they were like, we need to keep up with demand and bigger is always better in the cruise ship world.
Right.
So, I mean, comparatively, those ships, that ship we were on, that was one of their smallest, right? The Fantasy class.
Yep.
But so, I mean, that was my biggest. And I stopped in that same year. I did one more ship after the Paradise, which was out of Tampa. And that was on the Inspiration.
Okay.
Same exact ship by all accounts, like just different names in the different bars, kind of different themed bars and rooms.
Sure. But the main layout was pretty much
identical, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah. But I'm kind of relieved I managed to make it back in time to you today because I was hauling ass, shall I say, to finish a job I was on, and then I was in where was I? I was down at a place called Elephant and Castle. It's an area of London, and I hadn't eaten, and I was like, shit, I need to get something because I'm going to be dead without food. For Allegra, I need some energy, and Elephant and Castle is like Little Colombia. So I went into this place and I said, I'm so hungry. What can you get me that won't make too much mess on the subway, the tube, Yep. Mm-hmm. And the girl said, she listed off some options. And then I said, oh, how about a chicharron, the pork belly? And I was like, oh, just salivating just looking at it. And she was like, yeah, that's good, and it won't cause too much mess on the tube. She's like, no, no. What I should have said was, give me the thing that will make people look at me the least.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Because I thought the way it was going to be served up was chopped into pieces, because she gave me a little plastic fork and knife
Okay.
and a couple of potatoes to go in there with it. And yeah, that knife and fork did nothing because it just came as one big piece.
No, you can't do that on the tube.
I know. And I thought it was going to be cut up, so I opened it up in the box and I was just
Could
like,
have gotten like a burrito or a handheld of something.
I know. And this was like,
You should have said no when you got the fork and knife. That was
it was already wrapped up in the foil and in the bag and everything. I just assumed. So yeah, that was me at my most carnivorous.
Was it delicious?
It was fucking brilliant. I've not had one of those. I even cared. After that first bite, even though I'm on a packed tube and people are looking at me sitting down, just diving into my chicharron. I just looked around like, you guys, you don't even know what you're missing.
You guys, you really should taste this. You can't, but you should.
I was polite enough to not open my dessert in front of them and eat that as well.
Oh, that's nice.
I kept that for when I got in, just before I got everything ready for the podcast.
Yes.
But enough about that. What are you up to these days then? So, I mean, you're just still playing. You've got a drummer, you said.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I've got a full band when I need it. Typically, my gigs these days are solo, but
You still got the 12 string?
no. I mean, I have it. Is it back there? No. Wait, do I have it? It might have bit the dust, actually.
Too hard on the calluses or the fingers?
I think just so much traveling. I mean, I took that thing, all around the world. But I play a 6-string at Gibson these days, a little Gibson J Series Rosewood, and it's lovely. And I play probably once or twice a week, and sometimes with a band if we can get full band gigs. It's fantastic. I just released an album this last year.
I know, I saw.
Yeah, called Evolution, and I was very, very proud of it. I got my new producer here in Virginia Beach, which is right down the street from us. We live in Norfolk, Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, put that album out last May. I was nominated, though not awarded, but nominated for 3 of the Veer Music Awards, which is the local music awards in town. Best music video, best pop artist, and album of the year.
Well done. Those are some terrific categories to be nominated in.
Yeah, right? I thought so.
When did you find out the results?
We found out in mid-February.
So you didn't win, but you were nominated. Oh, well.
I did not win, but I was nominated, and that's still great.
Yes, and we'll link all the of the album stuff in. But so you're not playing 30 hours a week at the moment with your album.
Absolutely not. No. If I learned anything.
But you want to get on board. You want to get on board to play your new material 30 hours a week now.
I mean, I wouldn't like to do 30 hours, no, but ideally, I would like to be a fly-on. You know what I mean? That was always, even when I saw the fly-on musicians, that was like, I was so envious. Like they got to just fly down to the ship, hop on, do the long, the 4-day cruise. At that time, we were going to Catalina and then Ensenada.
That's it.
C.A, and then back to Long Beach. And then they would fly. There was one guy who came on with his electric violin, the most spectacular violinist I've ever seen.
Oh, that's right. Yes, he did. The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
He did. Yeah. Barry Van Wee. That was his name.
But there was two guys, I swear, that played that song. There was another guy who was in one of the bands on board.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I seem to remember that. I think.
But I'd never heard that song.
Little friendly rivalry too. They're like, who can do it better?
I mean, they were pretty even at it, I thought.
Yeah. I think they're both great.
Yeah.
Now I just have to say they're both great. They're great.
They're both great.
But I was so envious of his position because he got to just come on and then get off and fly home and have his career at home. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not to say that living on the ship was not good. I really did enjoy it. It was such a neat and interesting and different experience than anything I've ever had before. So
yeah,
I did like it.
You've definitely packed in your experience. If you're doing 30 hours of singing, goodness me.
Yeah.
I mean, for someone to fathom, how many hours is that per day? every week.
Yeah. 5 hours a day, 1 day off. I mean, it was bananas. It was so much, so much, so much singing. And it just was not conducive to vocal health.
No.
But I was trying my best. I was doing everything I could. Nowadays, of course, I like to pretend that I have strict rules about my performances. You know, I don't take any shows that are over 3 hours. I only do a 4 hour plus show if like the pay is super fantastic. You know,
Where would you do a 4+ hour show?
I wouldn't.
Where would be hiring, like a sports bar or something? I don't know.
A bar or maybe a festival or, you know, a farmer's market. It's a rare thing. It doesn't much happen, but when it does, it's like I can't do that. 3 hours is my limit.
If you were to line up all the songs that you know how to play and you were to play them all in one long playlist, how long would that set be?
I would still be playing if I started in, 2010.
Wow.
Like with no sleep.
Yeah.
Just because I'm learning new songs every day. And I also have all these songs in my head from all the years that I've played that I even surprise myself when I take requests at shows. I all of a sudden know a song front to back that I forgot that I even knew the words to.
Well, so you retain lyrics or do you retain chords more?
Both.
Both. Well, that's an impressive skill. I just remember medleys or melodies.
Oh,
you know, like the tune to a song, but not the song itself. And I'm shit with lyrics.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with the lyrics, but it all comes together in one little delightful package.
And do people request certain songs from you that you keep getting like asked to play? Like, oh, do you know this song? Or is there one or two that kind of?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's songs that I get pretty much at every gig. You know what I mean? I'll always get Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
Always.
Which one? Which is any Stevie Nicks?
People say Stevie Nicks, and then I go to my old reliables. I like Dreams or Rihanna.
Landslide.
Do that one.
Yeah.
Lately, I've gotten a lot of Nora Jones.
Okay.
I think people are feeling that winter vibe. So they want that like nice jazzy kind of like, I don't know, wine bar feel.
And who would you say, for those who haven't heard you, if you were to say you sound like anyone in particular or close to another artist?
I would probably say a mix between Sarah Bareilles and Sheryl Crow.
Ooh, Bareilles. Didn't she do Not Gonna Write You a Love Song?
She did. Yeah.
That's the only song I know of hers off the top of my head.
Have you seen Girls 5 Eva?
You know what? I'm so bad with music these days.
She starred in The Waitress on Broadway. And I believe in
the West End here.
Yep.
Yeah. I remember seeing her around. Not like in person. Hey, Sarah.
Yeah.
You
guys didn't hang out? You guys didn't eat chicharron together?
Nah. What's that? Because that is based on a film, right?
Yes.
Waitress and what's her name? The actress. She's in.
I think Carrie Russell, right?
Carrie Russell. I met Carrie Russell.
Oh, that's nice.
I met her.
She's awesome.
She is awesome. She's a lovely lady. I met her on set for The Diplomat, which they were filming a lot of that stuff over here. But yeah, Carrie Russell, man. She was in the Bon Jovi Always music video.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, not just her. The what's her name? Fuck, the mom in Spy Kids.
Oh my god, I don't know.
You know, she was married to Antonio Banderas.
Mom in Spy Kids.
You remember Spy Kids?
No, I don't think I ever watched Spy Kids.
Carla Gugino?
Nope, it doesn't ring a bell.
Gugino. Carla Gugino.
All right.
Yeah, maybe you recognize her if you saw her.
I'll have to take your word for it.
But yeah, so I don't know where I was going with any of that. But we said Carrie Russell. We've gone on 3 or 4 different tangents since.
Sarah Bareilles.
Was
The Waitress on Broadway.
Right. Yes. Yep. But you've not gone into any of that sort of stuff, have you? Broadway or otherwise musicals?
I would like to. I mean, I was a theater performance major when I went to college, theater and dance, and I teach jazzercise, which is that satisfies my little dance craving. So that's my dance and fitness. That's every day. And I would love to. There's a bunch of theaters here in Norfolk that I would I totally have the bug. Once you're a theater person, you want to do theater all the time. And when you leave it, you're like, I'm good for right now. Guaranteed you will get the calling to go back to it. But
what's the dream casting
role?
Yeah, role.
I don't think I have one. I would like to be on stage, acting again. It's just so much fun.
I'm just trying to think. If I was the casting director of musicals, I could see you do My Fair Lady.
Okay.
Yeah, or if you could do a good Cockney, you'd be right up there with Nancy Sinatra.
Yep.
What's her name?
I could do it.
What's her name, man? Bill Sykes' wife.
Audrey Hepburn.
No, Bill Sykes' wife.
You need to stop telling me to name people's wives.
Oliver Twist.
Uh-huh.
The evil mean guy, his wife.
I don't know. See, when I think of Oliver Twist, I think of my sister's 6th grade production of Oliver, where she played Oliver Twist.
Oh. And who did she played Oliver?
She did, yep.
Oh, okay, I've just found it. I'm so stupid. Nancy
Sinatra.
No, well, I said Nancy Sinatra, but that's not even her. I think Nancy is the name of the character.
The character.
I think it probably wasn't. It definitely wasn't Nancy Sinatra.
No, I don't think it was.
Got that all completely wrong. It was the one with Oliver Reed as Bill Sykes.
Oh, okay.
And we'll know Oliver Reed as being fantastic. But yeah, if I was to ever be in West End, I'd like to be either Fagin or Bill Sykes.
Right. That's fair.
I think either one of those two villains would be amazing to play.
I think it would be great to play a villain. I don't know how I would do as a villain, but I would like to give it a shot.
I like the idea of being booed and hissed.
Yeah. Yep.
That sounds like a lot of fun. So why did you start the ships?
I was working at Ellen's Stardust Diner in New York City, and it was the singing waiter diner where all of us, get up and do the Broadway songs and shake and shimmy and, pass around a tip bucket and serve, food as well. And everyone there was, like siblings. I mean, we all had such a great relationship. And as it was New York, we would have a lot of cruise ships coming through and people, saying, you guys should be on cruise ships, blah, 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 blah. So I had a lot of friends that kind of left for contracts. People get cast on Broadway, off Broadway, in regional shows, and then also people would be pulled out of the diner and do, 4-month, 5-month, 6-month cruise ship contracts. And I was like, that sounds amazing. I mean, I would love it. I would love to. And I originally, I didn't want to be the solo musician, the job that I got on the cruise ship. I was hoping for a show. Like I was hoping to be in one of the productions.
Right. Yeah. Show team singer.
Yep. But it happened as it did. And I'm not sure how exactly I got connected with kind of an agency that placed people on ships. But I got connected with this agency. And I think it was actually when I left New York and I came back to San Diego, my hometown. And from there, I went to an audition and I booked the job and took off to Long Beach and started the next day.
I find it amazing. I have to say this because when I think back to you performing, you were so professional. And
thanks.
I mean, not to suggest that you're no longer professional. You're probably still very good.
I hope so.
Well, you got nominated 3 times, so you bloody well should be.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out if you've been singing since you were 12, you're working in a diner, your late teens, and then you booked a gig. How old were you when you were on the Paradise?
I went to New York after I graduated college, so that was in 2003. Moved to LA after that. Did the audition scene, did a lot of live music stuff in Los Angeles. Didn't really like it. It wasn't really my scene. And then I had friends who had moved to New York and that looked super appealing to me. And so I went and visited. And then I fell little gaga head over heels for a gentleman in New York. And so, as a 20 3-year-old, I was like, this is a great idea to drop everything and move across the country for a man. So I did. And yeah, that did not work out.
But he didn't follow you to the ships, this guy.
I mean, amazing. No. So went to New York. I was working at Hard Rock Cafe in LA. So I got the transfer to the Hard Rock Cafe, New York City.
Simple switch.
Yeah, easy peasy. Was great. My cousin was there. I stayed with her for the first couple of weeks until I found a place, had a bunch of friends from college. And that was, 23 to 25 years old. And then I got back to San Diego when I was about 26, I believe. And then did a year or so there. That was about 2007 to 2009. Got the ship job in 2010. So yeah, I was in my late 20s when I did the ships. And then since then, I've traveled and lived all over the place. Lived in Fiji for 3 years, back in San Diego. I lived in Boston. Now I'm in Norfolk, Virginia. It's kind of got to travel a lot. I've been able and lucky enough to do lots and lots of traveling. I have gigs yearly now in Germany, which is really cool. I get to come over and do a month residency every summer in a little town in the Black Forest, which is
where's the Black Forest?
Down south. So it's like right on the Switzerland border.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
They request you to do German songs, or you sing your own stuff?
I sing all the songs that I sing here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know any German songs. I would like to learn.
Well, then what about what's that one from Sound of Music?
I'm 16 going on 17.
No, Edelweiss. That's a classic.
The Hills Are Alive.
Edelweiss.
Edelweiss.
That's a beautiful song.
It is.
That's probably the best one, in my opinion.
You think?
I think so, and that would probably suit you down to the T. You can't. Not to suggest you couldn't sing. I'm 16. But I think because I saw they did a live version of it for TV. Like when what do you call it? Soap operas. Nowadays, they have they rehearse for about a week or two the episode that they're going to have on live TV, and all the sets are interconnected, and they literally have their advert breaks and everything's go, 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 and they film it live, the episode, right?
Uh-huh.
They did that with The Sound of Music a few years ago here in London.
That's fun.
It was fun. I mean, I was just an audience member, and
oh, that's awesome.
And I was an aristocrat at one of the functions.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, but we're getting off topic again.
I feel like that's kind of your jam, though, don't you? You like to kind of
the ADHD
tangent a little bit.
It's the ADHD, yeah.
Yeah.
But my old publisher said, don't scrap the tangents in your writing, Sam, because sometimes that's where the best bits are.
That's where the gold is.
Yeah, that's it. You don't plan these things and they come out all right.
Yep.
But so you started when you was late 20s, and so I'm going to put your age at around early 40s.
Yep, 43.
You look very, very well for your age. Let me say this much.
Thank you.
Yes, you don't look a day over 40. I'm just
Stop
leaving
there.
I'm just leaving there. Because you've got the
grey hair.
The grey hair, yeah. You're rocking the greys.
Yeah, you got to rock it. I get so many compliments on my natural hair color. It's just like, why did I even ever dye it?
When did you start going grey? Out of interest.
In my early 20s.
Well, I was gonna say you weren't grey on the.
No,
Paradise?
I dyed it. I dyed it.
Right, but yeah, I was same. My my first few came through when I was 18.
Yeah,
but it's only been since lockdown, or maybe a little bit after that I've been
Same thing. I was dyeing it. I was getting the at-home dyes during lockdown, and halfway through, I'm like, you know what? If I'm gonna let it go and finally be free of spending way too much money on something that's really so arbitrary and just does not make a difference, let me just be me. Now's the time to do it. So, during 2021, I stopped dyeing it and let it be itself, and I've never looked back.
I got asked if I wanted my hair dyed. My ex, she said, I forgot what it was like when we first went out. Your hair and how it used to be all dark brown. Now it's all pepper. Well, salt and pepper is, a nice mix.
Yeah.
But she says, I don't remember what it was like. So I've booked you a session to get your hair dyed for your birthday. I was like, Whose birthday is this? Mine or yours?
Wait a second.
We're not with that person anymore.
Okay, all right.
But I had to have a skin test before I went for the diet, and
Oh yeah.
I had it on my neck, and it flared up or something. I
Oh
had a little
God.
irritation the next day, so I was like, "Oh, what a shame! I can't get my hair dyed."
Oh, sad. Not really
Oh,
sad.
yeah, really sad.
Not
It's like,
really.
as you say, such an arbitrary thing, and I think it looks great. It looks great on you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. I like it myself.
Well, so with your past experience being all that it was in your laryngitis times four in 4 months, if you're going to go back on board this time, obviously you said you're going to do things differently. You're going to play different songs. You're going to play different styles. You're going to play less hours. Would that be enough?
Well, I've also learned through the years that I can, in fact, wow people with what I do without belting all the time. One of the things that I love about my voice is the power behind it, is the fact that I can project and I can get up there and I can kind of blow people away sometimes with the straight up power behind, the big belts and the like big dramatic crescendos and all this stuff. I don't need to do that in order to prove to people that I know how to sing. You know what I mean? Like I've learned through lots of trial and error that I can be impactful and show my chops and show what I can do without overdoing. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. But I'm just thinking, I swear the other day I saw on your Instagram story, you were powerhousing it at some karaoke.
Oh yeah, yep. I was just thinking about that.
That's not what you do all the time, but you can do
Oh,
the
for
other stuff
for
too.
a karaoke song, like
Yeah.
that's okay. Like go up, show your stuff. Come on. No, but if it's a 3 hour show, I can take more time. I can do some cool things with my soft melodies, with my runs and and the breath that I use. And on top of that, like I said, if and when I get back on a ship, it will be in a capacity that isn't the 5 hours a day capacity. It would most likely be a fly on situation.
Because that's the death of any musician's career, doing that amount of time every single day. It's just not.
I remember a couple of the pianists and people that were on the ship that had these 30-year careers, that they were on ships 30 years and their voices were just practically gone. You know what I mean? And they were just like edging through. And I'm like, well, no wonder you've been on the ship for 30 years. Like, I mean, with, of course, time off in between. But man, that seems really dangerous for someone who wants to continue
Do more.
singing. Yeah.
Because it's not like cruise ships were ever offered to you like that's the pinnacle of success. It was more like this is the platform to earn your stripes, maybe put in some performance hours, get your confidence and your repertoire up.
Have some cool experiences, do a little travel, make some money, and work as a professional singer.
Yeah, right?
It wasn't ever it never was this is my ticket to whatever, this isn't my ticket to success. It's like, no, this is just another
Stepping stone.
notch on my belt. It's just another, thing that I can plug in my resume, say, this is really cool. I got to do this. And I totally still think that, it was such a neat and unforgettable time of my life, even though it was so short. It was really special.
Did you have a scariest moment? Anything in particular happen that was a bit jarring?
I will say the one thing that I hated so much, I won't say scary, but I wasn't allowed to ask for tips with my position, even though the piano bar had a big tip jar on the piano, and
That's
all these
right.
other people had tip jars. I was not allowed. And I felt that was really silly.
Yeah, where's the double standards? Because they've been at sea longer? That was why?
Yeah, no, I don't know what it was. It wasn't really, in my very humble opinion, it was unnecessary policing. So I didn't put out a tip jar, and people would still throw money at me. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to, if someone gives me $100 and says like, I want you to have this, this is the best part of my vacation, I'm not going to say no, thank you. I'm going to say like, that's very kind. I can't really accept tips. They're like, nonsense, take it. and they like would shove it at me. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take it then because I'm not going to argue up here with you about money. And then the cruise director at the time was not a fan. So he came and kind of reprimanded me a little bit.
What? What are you going to
Yeah.
do? You're going to say, no, stop throwing money at me, people. I'm sorry. I'm so awesome.
Yeah, exactly. What the heck?
Sounds like he was a little bit bitter.
Yeah.
No one's throwing money at me when no one threw money at me when I was hosting the cornhole competitions.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's because they were throwing all their money at me.
Explain cornhole to me. What the hell is this obsession with this game? It's an
I love
American
it.
thing.
It's so much fun.
It's just throwing a beanbag in a hole.
Yeah, it's literally all it is.
Yeah. But like people went crazy for it. Like,
Yeah, because it's like it says summertime, it says lawn games, people like this, it's just kind of like the vibe of it. It's like you have a drink in your hand and it's like team and
is there anything Americans do where they don't do it with a chill pill? Like bingo was another example of just take it easy. I'm just pulling numbers out of a machine, calling numbers, but everyone's
oh, you
screaming at
hosted
everything.
bingo, didn't you?
I hosted everything, but
Gosh.
bingo was bingo, and people scream at you every
Yeah.
number. But with the sports we had, like the game shows, the quizzes,
Yep.
I felt like I was constantly being screamed out, and no tips came my way.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry about that.
That's okay, but you weren't allowed them. I weren't getting them. We're
Yeah,
evened out.
exactly. Yep. Yep.
But so you got $100 from somebody, and then you what?
More
shoved
than once. I got $100 a few times from somebody and different people.
Yeah.
I got proposed to
Ooh,
3 times.
same person.
Nope, different people.
Different
Different
people.
people. Wanted to marry the cruise ship musician.
Yeah.
But it was interesting because it was just this vibe of, I don't want to say false fame, but it was this fame capsule.
Yeah.
Because you're in this environment that is very controlled. It's just a certain amount of people. They're not leaving the ship. They're on there. They have the choices to go and see like 5 different entertainment sources, and then that's it. If they're not going to do that, they're going to stay in their room. And the ship that we were on, the Paradise, was kind of very much like booze cruise party. Like everyone's there to just let go, let loose, have a good time, rage up a little bit. So no one's really staying in the rooms. Everyone's coming out. And people kept seeing me and got really excited every time they saw me. And then I got this like weird celebrity status at points. Like I would leave and go off when we ported in Ensenada. I would be walking down the road and I would get stopped and like asked for my autograph.
I was going to ask you, did you get asked for your autograph?
Yeah. People are like, are you Allegra? Are you that's the musician. Like that's her. Like, oh my gosh. Like,
Yeah.
It was interesting because I'm like, I'm just literally playing.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it.
I like the way you
ride the wave. I'm going to do it. But
I like the way you phrased it as well, like the fame capsule.
yeah.
Like you're famous because, well, you're talented, number one, but also they're just kind of captive audience.
Yeah.
So
you have a captive audience.
you can't.
100%.
It's not like, and it's also like not like they've chosen to come and see you. They've chosen to come and see like everything that's on the ship, and you're part
Right.
of it.
Yep.
So they can see whatever they want, but they still chose to come and see you.
There it is.
And throw money.
Yep. And throw money at me and propose and whatnot. So.
Was there anything else like you got requests or strange? Like obviously, being proposed to is quite a big one, I guess.
I will say that I met a few people on the ship that I still keep in contact with, some customers. I actually got a really cool, I don't know if it was Instagram or Facebook, but a message, in the last couple months from somebody that said, Dear Allegra, I've been following you on the socials since like 2010. I saw you first on the Carnival Paradise, and
Wow.
and my wife and I were going through, like, we were trying to work out a lot of like we're kind of going through a difficult time. And I just wanted to reach out and let you know that we just think the world of you. We want you to succeed, and you're just so talented, and you just changed everything for us. And like, you made so much goodness happen. You shed so much love into our lives. We're so happy. And now, and you really got us past like this really dark point. And I just wanted to tell you, keep going. Don't stop. Don't stop singing. I thought that was really, it was very cool.
That is very nice.
So neat to get those messages. And I've gotten them a few times. I've gotten people that have reached out that saw me back then.
But you don't keep in touch with anyone in the crew or the staff? Not really, mostly just ex-guests.
Yeah, ex-guests. I think with that position, with the solo musicianship, I was able to communicate and hang out and do the guest thing more than I did the crew thing, just because I was solo. So everyone in the show, they had the cast.
They had their kind of niche bubble.
They had the cast. The dancers all had the dancers. They had that group, that built-in group. All the hosts of the social hosts and y'all had your kind of group, and I was kind of just like an outlier. It's like, okay, so, which was cool with me because that's really all that's how I kind of have been for the majority of my life. I've just been kind of like a floater, never really with a clique, kind of just knowing everybody a little bit and just like doing myself as best I can. But yeah, I got to spend way more time with guests, I think, than a lot of other people on the ship.
I'm going to hopefully get some messages in my inbox at some point with some people who are going through a tough time, but they remember fondly the game of cornhole.
Bingo.
Just wanted to do so well. We hope you come back to cornhole sometime. You know, bring your talent and your hosting skills to the sport that needs more attention.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, if we can call it a sport.
No, I know, but there's a lot of sports that need more attention. Like, do you know what real tennis is?
I know what tennis is. I thought that was real tennis.
Well, that's lawn tennis, right? Essentially.
Oh, okay.
Tennis that we know, with Nadal and Federer and Djokovic and all those people.
Right. Uh-huh.
That's been going around 150 years. And it's on typically like lawn, clay, or they call it astrophalt, whatever.
Yeah.
Real tennis has been around for a good 900 years and was basically invented by Henry VIII.
Okay.
You know King Henry VIII, the one who chopped all his wives' heads off?
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a mixture between, do you know squash? Like
so are you talking about like pickleball?
Is it kind of like pickleball? Yeah, is that like squash? Is that you're heading against the wall? And right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a mixture between that and tennis, but instead of like a wall, you're hitting against walls and awnings. And I only just got introduced to it properly. Like my old university is just 20 minutes walk away. And I know this is a tangent. I'm sorry. But it's interesting.
What? You're going off on a tangent? I didn't know that.
Sorry. But there's only like 50 real tennis courts in the world, and 25 of them or something are here in the UK.
Really?
And then the rest of them are dotted around. But it's, look it up. Real tennis.
I will. I will look it up.
It's a weird one. But yeah, it's an old game, and it's like, I think, one of the games that King Henry VIII kind of made the rules to, and it almost was like typical of him to make something up as he's going along with it so that he can win a bit more. Were there any forbidden romances?
I mean, I think that all the romances that I had on the ship were pretty forbidden. Just because they were
all guests.
Yeah. Let's just say that. I had a lot of fun.
But you're a married woman, so we don't need to go there now.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay.
You sure? I wanted to ask you, so your husband, is he a naval man?
He is retired.
Oh, right. So okay.
He retired from the Navy this last July.
Ooh.
And now he's in the fire department.
I bet he's got some deck tales.
Yeah. He actually came. We were kind of on a separation when I was on the ship, but of course we were meant
on
to
a
be
break.
at each other. Yeah, we were on a break. We were on a break.
You're on a break.
Yeah, but always continued to be very close, even when we were on a break. And he came up and visited me one time, and that was fun to have him around the ship. But he does, for Navy style. When he came onto the cruise ship, he's like, "Yep, this is very different."
Yeah. Was he one of the people out of the three that proposed to you whilst you were performing?
No.
It was a bit later.
He didn't propose until a little bit later.
How did he do it?
It was at a winery in Temecula, which is Southern California. Mm-hmm. And we were watching the hot air balloons kind of take off, and it was at sunset. It was really pretty, and it was just the two of us. The winery was about to close, and we were having one last drink and trying to take a picture and fumbling around with my camera. And when I was looking down at the camera, he pulls out a ring and he said, "You want to take a picture with this guy?" And I turned around and
calling the ring, this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to take a picture with this guy? That's what
cool.
he said.
I like that. Yeah. Really cute phrasing.
It's pretty cute. He's a pretty cute guy.
Oh, well, I'm very happy for you. How long has it been now you've been together, or married and together?
Got together initially in 2008, and we're still together. We got married in 2013. So, yeah, it's been a while.
I can't do math at this time of night.
No, don't. No need to math.
No. Let's move away from the smushy stuff.
Okay, no more smushy stuff.
Let's go to the embarrassing side of cruising. Was there any of those moments for you in that short 4.5 months?
Oh, embarrassing. I mean,
I've got no memories of you doing anything stupid.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't really embarrass easily. So...
Not that. That's not what I meant. I mean, I don't remember you doing anything outlandish.
No, I didn't really. There was no real outlandish behavior. My favorite thing was to go down to the crew bar and pick after show. I would go grab a bottle of, what was it? Missouri Pinot Noir. And I would bring that back to my room and I would sit and watch the ship shows that there were like 5 different movies that would just play over and over and over again. And drink the wine. And, before gigs, I just liked the crew bar. It was a fun little place.
It was nice, yeah. No, people have said that it was nice because on that ship, or Carnival at least, it was crew, everyone. It wasn't officers only or crew only, it was everyone.
Right. Yeah, it was nice.
There was a real togetherness. Did you do any of the excursions? Did you go on any? No,
I didn't do one excursion. Nope. I definitely got off the ship in both Catalina and Ensenada quite a few times, and just kind of wandered around and checked internet because you had to get off the ship to get on your computer. Yeah, which is wild. I don't even know how ship life is now. I don't know if they have amended that or if it's still like crazy expensive just to like get online.
I like speaking to people who did their ship time before the social media craze and having internet on board because they were more detached from their phones.
Yeah.
And they were in the moment a bit more. Like, I wasn't hosting beanbags or cornhole, and it'd be like, don't forget to sign up, subscribe to my cornhole challenge YouTube channel, guys. I was just there in the moment.
Yeah.
Cornhole for the love of the game, not the subscribers and the fame.
A lot of in the moment. Back at that 2010,
Yeah, but we're so reliant on it now. We can't go a day without it, right? It's annoying.
No, I know it's bananas.
Yeah, I mean you probably you can probably attest to this, but like I wrote just to give you a bit of backstory. Like I basically wrote 2 books about ship life. My first one was called Seems Like Smooth Sailing. There's an audio book on Audible. It's very funny. And it's basically like a comedy of errors, like being young and stupid and gullible. I was the youngest on board. And it was about my first ever contract, 10 months on board an English cruise line called the Thompson Destiny. And that was published the day we went into lockdown, which was the first time ever that you couldn't go on a cruise ship because of COVID. And because of COVID, of course, no one wanted to go on a cruise ship.
Right.
So I was like, oh, damn, I wonder how the industry's going to cope. This is like, since pre-World War II, nothing stopped cruising. It's always been on the up and up.
Right.
And they're growing exponentially. And now they're fucking huge now. So much bigger than the fantasy class ships we were on.
Right.
So I was looking at the industry from a different perspective all of a sudden because of the first book launch drop. And now I kind of like opened Pandora's box and was like, wow, there's a lot of stuff about this industry that we never knew about.
Right.
I never knew about greenwashing, stuff that's kind of brushed under the rug, about the crew having contracts with defamation clauses.
Sure.
So all of this stuff, I was kind of like, oh, okay. And I started to really peel back the lid and find stuff that was like, oh, this needs to go into the second book.
Yeah.
So the second book isn't published yet, but I mean, the industry is massively changed now with literary agents now only really caring about one thing, Allegra, and that is how many followers do you have?
Right.
Not how good is your book and what's it
Right.
about.
Right.
How many followers have you got? 'Cause that's all I want to know.
That's the music industry as well. I mean, it's the
Yeah.
same thing. It's just been so menialized into this stupid, you're not a success unless you have a certain amount of followers. It doesn't really matter how good your music is or what you're writing, especially with AI as well,
Oh,
AI's
let's
writing songs.
let's talk about that. So you've not used AI at all yet, or you're
I'm trying not to. I mean, I have dabbled in it here and there just to see more pictures, but writing, I won't ever, on principle. Like, I appreciate the fact that I have a mind and a heart and, opinions. And I am really lucky enough to be able to be a creative person that can take these thoughts and heart and opinions and put them into words that rhyme and have cadence. And I think that's a special, very human thing and something that's really special to me and to, all actual human writers. I have nothing against it when it comes to sounding good for an interview question or something like that. But when it comes to creativity and writing and songwriting, I feel like that's something that maybe the artificial intelligence should leave to actual creative people and writers and, thinkers. It's
absolutely.
my very personal stance on the subject.
I couldn't agree more. But you know what? It's getting better and better at an alarming rate. Like, for example, did you know that I'm not actually real? I'm an AI generated version of Sam Catlin.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
That's amazing.
Got the hair down to a T.
Oh my gosh. Wow. The hair, you really nailed it.
Yeah. I've used it a little bit. Like, I've only used it for basically like auto subtitling these clips
Sure.
for social media. That's really helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can use it for chopping up or like all the audio as a single file. You can upload it into something called Autopod and it chops it up and, takes out all of the pauses and supposedly the ums and the ers.
Okay.
I do
Which
that.
could be good, but then it might take out some uhs and ers that were pretty, well placed.
Well, that's
And
it.
that would be
That's the
kind of a
thing. How
bummer.
does it know which ones to take out and which ones to leave
Right.
in for dramatic effect?
Right.
It's like fucking, you're never going to get it right. So I have to do at least 7 or 8 hours per, well, no, that's too much. A lot of hours per episode.
No, not that many.
No, I'm trying to think. It's a lot of hours.
I will say my experience was very, very lucky, very good, very, lots of fun, lots of
Yeah. Except for the
lots of great
laryngitis.
memories. A lot, yes, the laryngitis was a big bummer,
Mm.
but it made me stronger. It got me back. It helped me to kind of lock it up and figure out what it is that I need as a performer and as a musician and what I need to ask for. You know what I mean? If I were to take anything away from the ship, would be that now I know what to ask for. Now I know my limits. Now I
Yeah.
know what I'm physically and emotionally available for. You know what I mean?
What about one of those things that my ex-girlfriend on the Paradise, she had one of them in her room, that thing that you breathed into.
Yeah.
What was that called? Do you have one of those?
Like a humidifier,
That's exactly
like a
what it's
vocal
called.
humidifier. Yeah.
A vocal humidifier.
Yeah. I don't have one. But I hear good things about them.
You've
So
got
if it
some
worked for
other.
her-
You got some. Oh, I guess so. She's still belting them out, and she
There you
works on
go.
ships for
Good.
14 years. But
Oh, wow.
do you have any like old wives' tales, herbal remedies that you can use to slick your voice out quicker?
I will say the pre-gig, pre-show beverage was my hot toddies, and I love them. And
Yeah.
I still swear by them.
What do you put in your hot toddy?
It depends on where I am. If I'm making it myself, it was probably a black tea, lemon, honey, and bourbon.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
See, mine was just straight brandy.
Oh, you know what? Sometimes I'm not sure if it was on the ship or before the ship, but sometimes before gigs, I would take a shot of, or like a sipper. I wouldn't shoot it, but like a glass of Grand Marnier.
Mm,
Nice and syrupy,
that's it.
just kind of coats up the
Slick you out.
throat. Yep.
Because, in the military, like the guys who are screaming left, right, the drill sergeants,
Okay. Yeah.
they're screaming all day long. So their remedy would usually be brandy or something or port, a gargle
Oh,
some port.
garlic port. Ooh.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
little tidbit there.
Yeah. Interesting.
In your time on board, did you ever have the show from hell? One that really sticks out as being like, I really wish
That never happened.
that never happened, or I was so annoyed to have to endure this person or that particular set. Or I don't know. Anything?
Gosh, nothing really that sticks out to me. I will say though, there was a couple of times when my voice was struggling that I kind of begged and pleaded with the
Cruise
medics
director.
on board.
Oh,
And I'm like, I can't, I did not, I sounded like gravel. I mean, it was terrible. And I got shots of the steroids. Like they would just give me steroid shots and they're like, okay, well, just rest up. When's your next show? I'm like, well, it's supposed to be in 3 hours. And they're like, well, just, take it easy until then. And I'm like, oh my God, like you guys are slowly killing me, right? Like I don't know what to do. Like and then I talked to the cruise director at one point that it was just so bad. My voice was just so thrashed. I said, I don't think I can sing. And he goes, well, just, kind of, what did he say? He said something that really stuck with me. And now, of course, I can't remember, but it was
fine.
something along the lines of, don't try so hard. Like you're doing too much. Like stop. Like just don't. He's like, just don't work so hard, or like don't sing so loud, or like something really inane and something that really frustrated me in the moment. Especially, I'm like, so don't do my job well, is what you're saying. Like, don't do what I'm actually paid to do. So,
yeah.
like, don't try so hard. Or, like, don't, like, it was something along those lines, and it just infuriated me. I'm like, so you would rather me wreck myself and stand up there and not provide good entertainment than just give me the night off and have an empty stage for 5 hours. Like, that would not be a big deal. There's other stuff on, like, I thought that was crazy that
No, yeah, you want to put out a quality product every time and
I
not
want to
just.
put out a quality product every time, and that's
Yeah.
that. And that's like, yeah, I was like, don't try so hard, or don't. I'm like, okay,
Well, yeah, just be a lounge singer tonight.
just be worse. Just be worse
yeah.
at what you do. I'm like,
Just sing
okay.
easy songs. Just sing songs where you can start people off and then you can hand the mic to the audience and they'll sing the songs for you.
Yeah, yeah. It was just kind of like an insult to
Yes,
my
definitely.
craft to not sound too
Yeah,
uppity,
especially given how
whatever.
long you've been doing it, man. Like, by that point, what? You've been doing it for 24, no, 20 plus, 20 years? 20, no, just under 20 years by that
Yeah,
point.
and more than 20 years. I
No, because
mean,
you were 28, let's say, and you started when you were 12.
oh, I mean, I really started singing when I was, 5. But
Okay, so then more than 20 years worth of
yeah,
experience.
I
And
can't. Yeah.
would you say the biggest thing you've learned from ships is just how to regulate your voice and
I would actually, yeah, I
prolong
would
it?
say prolonging, knowing thyself. Do you know what I mean? It's know what you're capable of, know your limits, and know your capability, on the other side of that. Like know when to say no, know how to stand up for yourself, like know how to take care of it. Wasn't just the voice, it was the voice and everything connected to it. And that was another huge lesson, was that when my voice started struggling, everything in me started struggling. And it's like, I am very connected to my livelihood and my well-being as a human and as an emotional creature is really, really tied to the health of my voice.
Hmm.
So I have to, it's all one word. And this is everybody. Do you know what I mean? It's all one big puzzle. Like if one thing in whatever your puzzle is, one piece is amiss, everything's going to be affected. You can't just pretend that you can compartmentalize your well-being as a human. And a lot of people do that. And I feel like it does come back to bite you in the ass.
Definitely. Definitely. I mean, I'm a handyman. I can't use my hands. I'm no good to anyone,
Yep.
right? But I don't want to be a handyman forever. I'd like to be able to do more things. So I'm
It's a good quality to have though. being handy.
Yeah, I'm handy. Yeah, but sometimes people take advantage and they're like,
Ah,
"Oh, you can do all of these things, then complete the house for me." I'm like, "No."
no.
But it's nice because I spent the
One.
last 3 days indoors editing for this,
Okay.
and today I was like, "Yes, I get to be handy."
Yay. See? Yeah, and it's all in moderation. Everything in moderation.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah,
another lesson that you can, glean from cruise life is I wasn't moderating. And that was the job.
yeah.
But everything is okay as long as you are able to, step back from it and, what you really do enjoy and what makes you like what actual, things make you a happier person versus the things that you do because you think that they need to get done.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, yes, we all have to do that in life. We all have to do the things that someone else is requiring of us. But you just have to make sure that you really balance that out with taking care of yourself. It's all about taking care of yourself.
I will say that I've had a couple of other singers and musicians on Deck Tales, and some of them are still doing it. And they're doing like one of them is she was doing show team singing, and now she's a fly on. And then there's another guy. He's been a performer forever, and another guitarist, and he's not doing it anymore. But it seems to me that things have gotten better,
Yeah.
and they're not burning people out as much as that they used to
Yeah, I
back
was I
in
was
that
wondering
time.
about that. I was
Yeah.
wondering if they have because that's all they would really need to do in that sort of situation is just hire one more soloist, have two soloists on the ship at one
To
point
alternate.
and just alternate, do 15 hours a week apiece. It's and then other duties. Do you know what I mean? Then they could have them do,
Yeah,
they
because you
they
you
could
didn't
help
have
with bingo, or they could help with cornhole.
you would have liked that really secretly.
I really would have.
We hugged all the fame and glory.
Oh my gosh.
Or how the other half lived, Wasn't
Yep.
just cornholing as well, we had towel folding, napkin folding.
Ooh, I'll stick to the games.
Yeah. What was that? Fruit and veg carving, ice sculpturing. What'd you call it? Yeah.
Ice sculpting?
Ice sculpting.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
Oh dear. But yeah, basketball was my favorite activity to host. I loved playing basketball. Just like I'm at sea on a sea day playing basketball, shooting hoops. This is the life, man.
So much fun. Yeah, right?
Yeah, like people coming up to me like, "Yo, are you the basketball guy?" I'm like,
You're the basketball
no
guy.
one's ever called me that.
You're like, yes, I am.
Yeah, I didn't make the team in high school, but sure, I'm the basketball guy now.
But I'm the basketball guy now. I love that.
Oh, living the high life.
It's just a great experience. I
Yeah.
mean, the goods and the bads alone. I had a great time. I had a great time I love that I had my own room,
Oh yeah.
which was a huge gimme. You know what I mean? That was part of the sweet stuff that they offered for the position.
Yeah.
And I
But
would
you were
never.
never in it.
I was in my room a lot, just because, at the points where I was not singing and, not out canoodling with,
I love that. Not a canoodle in a while.
folks, I was definitely sleeping. I was like, let's just sleep. It was just, on days that we were in port and I'm like, I'm not going out. I'm exhausted. My voice is tired. I can't speak. Even if I wanted to speak, I can't. So a lot of vocal rest happened, in my room by myself. And that was fantastic. Having the solo room, having the ensuite,
Definite.
it was like that would be the only way that I would ever do it again was
Oh
having
yeah,
my
have to
own
be
space.
back in your own room again if you was to go
Yeah,
back on board.
100.
Yeah.
Because I saw the rooms of the dancers and of the people and of the crew and of, I'm just like, this is,
Not for me.
woof, this is not for me. No.
What about your husband's accommodation? Did he ever show you room or pictures of that?
Oh, it was awful. Oh my gosh. They're
He was
just
sharing as well, right?
in like no, he's in just a bunch, you walk in and there's like beds everywhere, but they're like coffin size. Like you have to like get down on the floor and like roll into it.
So by comparison, did he ever visit you on? No, he didn't visit. Did he stay with you when he visited you?
No, he just visited me while we were in port on
Oh, right.
Long Beach. Yeah.
But he never got to check out your accommodation and be like, you don't know how lucky you are.
He did. Yeah, I showed him downstairs. I showed him the
Yeah.
room and, he was like, this is really nice. This is real nice.
Yeah. You don't even know you're
Yeah.
born
I
in
know.
the Navy. We only have half a bunk.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, half a bunk. I mean, those beds were
Yeah, I did a tour of one
very,
ship.
very small.
I did a tour of one ship years after the fact that I'd finished on ships. I had a hankering to get back to the ocean waves.
Uh-huh.
And then I was on this ship, the HMS Bullock, that was in the Thames.
Okay.
And I kept hitting my head on like
Oh, yeah, I
the
bet.
door frames. I was like, I'm
Yep.
6 foot. But
The
like
bulkheads.
the bulkheads, it's just like, fuck it. Every time I go around a corner, I bang into something. I'm like, yeah, no. And it did, despite the fact that I didn't pass the physical.
Yeah.
I mean, I probably could have shaped up enough to get in, but I thought, you know what? Considering what they pay at this level of my career,
Yep.
I can do better to go and
I
study
could probably
something.
do something else.
Yeah, I've had that
Yeah.
part time in my life, and I'm always grateful for it, and I've really enjoyed doing deck towers because it's been so much fun reconnecting with everyone and seeing what everyone's up to
Yeah.
now. And
Absolutely.
I've only just scratched the surface, Allegra. I feel like there's a lot more juicy stuff to dive into.
Yep.
And you are episode 36.
Ooh, okay. 36. Lucky number 36.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining me, Allegra.
It was
We
so
ran out
nice
of
to
time.
see you,
We
Sam.
ran out of time. So much has happened, but yes, I wish you all the best with your album. I'll link it all below and
Yeah.
everything, all the plugs and stuff. But
Great.
I'll let you go now.
Yep. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for reaching out. I really
Oh, bless
appreciate
you.
it.
Bless you. Take care. All
All
the
right.
best.
Thank you. See
Bye bye,
ya.
my dear. So there you have it. That wraps it up for this episode of Deck Tales. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've been entertained by the tales of laughter, camaraderie, and the occasional stormy sea, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. There are lots of other shows out there to compete with, so if you are enjoying Deck Tales, why not help us out by going over to Spotify or Apple and dropping us a 5-star rating. This will boost the show's visibility and help to attract new listeners every week. Before I sign off, if you'd like to share your own stories for a future episode, then I'd love to hear from you. Simply get in touch over the socials because after all, the best stories often come from our listeners. As we navigate through the waters of life, remember to enjoy the journey as much as the destination, as well as those you choose to share the adventure with. I've been your Captain Sammy Catlin. Until next time, fair winds, smooth sailing, and may your adventures be as unforgettable as those shared here on Deck Tales. Bon voyage!